Good morning, algebra students. Today we're going to learn how to calculate and graph x and y intercepts and construct standard form of a linear equation and graph horizontal and vertical lines. So we have a lot to learn today. Can you please get your notebook out? You also need a piece of graph paper and your pencil. So pause this video while you find your notebook, your graph paper, and your pencil, and then hit play. All right, label your notes 3-4. Label your notes 3-4. All right, the first thing we're going to do is learn how to write an equation in standard form. So in your notes, what I want you to write is standard form and this equation. This is standard form. So in your notes, write standard form is ax plus by equals c. So whatever the directions say write in standard form, you're trying to get ax plus by equals c. A, b, and c are all real numbers. A always has to be positive. So the coefficient for x, this a here, has to be positive. It can't be negative. And a and b are not both 0. One of them could be 0. So you could have a 0x or a 0y, but not a 0x and 0y. All right, so to explain this better, let's do an example together. In your notes, write number 1, negative 5x plus 6 or equals 60y plus 10. Okay, so what we're going to do is try to get it in the form ax plus by equals c. That means I want my x and y on the left side. So my first step, I'm going to subtract 60y from both sides. So I have x and y on the same side. Okay, so that's your first goal, get x and y on the left side of the equation. Also, your coefficient for x cannot be negative, but I'm noticing we have a negative 5x. So what I'm going to have to do is divide the whole equation by a negative number so that my coefficient for x is positive. Whenever you put equations in standard form, the a, which is negative 5, the b, which is negative 60, and the c, which is 10, cannot have a common factor. I'm noticing that 5 goes into 5, and 5 goes into 60, and 5 goes into 10. They can't have a common factor. So I'm going to divide by a negative 5 because I want my coefficient for x to be positive, plus I don't want negative 5, negative 60, and 10 to have a common factor of 5. So I'm going to take the whole equation and I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5. As long as I do the same thing to both sides, I'm okay. So a negative 5x divided by negative 5 would give me a positive 1x, which is the same as x. A negative 60, because it's a minus, it's a negative 60 divided by negative 5 is a positive 12y. And then I'll put equals, and 10 divided by negative 5 would be negative 2. So this is what standard form looks like. I have x plus y on the left side. I have my constant on the right. My coefficient for x is positive, and my coefficients 1, 12, and the constant negative 2 do not have any common factors. That's what we call standard form. All right, let's do another one together to make sure that we have this. All right, so write down number 2 in your notebook. Y equals negative 3/7 x plus 5. Okay, our first goal is to get x and y on the left side. So I notice x is on the right. So what I'm going to do is add 3/7 x to both sides. So I'm going to do plus 3/7 x plus 3/7 x. So I have a 3/7 x. I'm going to put x first because remember we want it in the form ax plus by equals c. So I'm going to put my x first, my 3/7 x, and then I'm going to put plus y equals 5. Now I'm looking at my coefficient for x. It is 3/7. It is positive, so I do need it to be positive. That's good. But it also has to be an a positive whole number. It can't be a fraction. So whenever you write in standard form, A, B, and C cannot be fractions or decimals. They need to be integers, which are positive and negative whole numbers. So I'm going to have to do something to this equation so I don't have the fraction 3/7. Okay, you might be thinking maybe multiply by the reciprocal, but if I did that, I'd have to take a 7/3 times y, and then I would have a problem because my coefficient for y would be a fraction. So think to yourself, what can I do to this whole equation so I do not have any fraction coefficients? Okay, I can multiply by 7, because then what will happen is my 7 in the denominator will cancel with 7 and I'll have 3x. I'll also have to take the 7 times y, and I'll also have to take the 7 times 5 to get 35. Okay, now we have our equation in standard form. This is in the form ax plus by equals c, and I do not have any fraction coefficients. All right. When I do this one, you do not need to write it down. I just want you to watch, and then I'm going to have you try one like it. So next, we're going to find x and y intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, we put 0 in for y. Okay, so the way we do that is I take my equation, and where this y is, I put in a 0. And then I solve that equation for x. Well, I know 4 times 0 is 0. So this will be like a 3x plus 0, which is 3x. And then I'm just solving that for x by dividing by 3. So I'm going to get x equals 8. So my x-intercept is 8. Okay, so what ordered pair is that? That would be 8, 0, because x is 8, and I put in 0 for y. Okay? Now to find the y-intercept, I'm going to substitute 0 in for x. So I'm going to take this same equation, and where the x is, I'm going to put a 0. So I'm going to do 3 times 0 plus 4y equals 24. Well, 3 times 0 is 0. So I just get a 4y equals 24. Divide both sides by 4. 24 divided by 4 is 6. What ordered pair would that be? That would be a 0, 6. Okay. Why do we find x and y intercepts? This is one way to graph. If I can find the x and y intercept, it's an easy way to graph. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to graph my x-intercept 8, 0. So I go to my graph. 8, 0 would be right 8, don't go up or down. Then I'm going to graph my y-intercept, which is 0, 6. 0, 6 means don't go left or right, go up 6. If I connect those 2 points, that is the line. It should be a straight line. Okay? All right, so I'm going to have you try this one in your notebook. So write number 3, x minus 2y equals -2. What I want you to do is find the x-intercept and y-intercept and then graph it. Okay, so just remember, to find the x-intercept, you put 0 in for y. To find the y-intercept, you put 0 in for x. Go ahead and pause. When you get done, hit play. Okay, so let's check. So when you found the x-intercept, you had to put 0 in for y. So you should get x equals -2 because this cancels, and you just have an x equals -2. Check your y-intercept over here. To find the y-intercept, you put 0 in for x. So I put 0 right here where the x is. So what I really have is a -2y equals -2. I divide both sides by -2 to get y equals 1. So if I graph my 2 points, -2, 0 is here. It's left 2, don't go up or down. 0, 1 means don't go left or right, go up 1. Check your graph. Does that look like the line you graphed? All right, I want you to do number 4 with me. All right, so on number 4, write 2y equals 6x plus 12. All right, the first part says write it in standard form. So remember, when we write it in standard form, we want it in the form ax plus by equals c. So first we should get the x to the other side. Okay, so our first step should be to subtract 6x. Good. So I have a negative 6x. I'm going to put my x first because I want my x first, so it's in standard form. Plus 2y equals 12. Okay, do you think that's in standard form? No, why not? Okay, a couple of reasons. First of all, my coefficient for x is negative and it needs to be positive. Second of all, there's a common factor between negative 6, 2, and 12. 2 goes into all of them. So an easy way to fix both of those problems is divide the equation by negative 2. Good. Because then you'll have a positive coefficient for x, and you will not have a common factor of 2. So let's do this together. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3x, positive 3x. 2 divided by negative 2 is a negative 1, so negative y. 12 divided by 2, or negative 2, is negative 6. That is in standard form. Okay, so we've got it in standard form. Next, we're going to find the x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay, so to find the x-intercept, we put 0 in for y. Good. So we would have a 3x minus 0 equals negative 6. Well, this is just 3x equals negative 6. Then we divide both sides by 3. Good. And we'll get x equals negative 2. So my x-intercept is negative 2, 0. Okay, let's find my y-intercept. To find the y-intercept, you put 0 in for x. Good. So what I'm going to do is take this equation here, and I'm going to have a 3 times 0 minus y equals negative 6. Well, 3 times 0 is 0. 0 minus y, that's like a negative y equals negative 6. And then to solve for y, all I have to do is divide both sides by negative 1. Good. So a negative 6 divided by a negative 1 is a positive 6. This would be the point 0.06. Okay. Don't worry about graphing it, but I'll show you what the graph's going to look like. I'm just going to graph negative 2, 0, which means go left 2, don't go up or down. And then I'm going to graph the other point, 0.6, means don't go left or right, go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I connect those points, I have my line. Okay. I want you to watch this one, and then I'm going to have you try one. This equation is x equals 3. It really is in standard form because you don't have a y, it's like a 0y. So standard form is 1x plus 0y equals 3. Sometimes students get confused on what this line looks like, and I'll show you the easiest way to graph this. If x equals negative 3, all of your x values are 3. Every time, x is always 3. Y can be any number. So what I do is I just put any numbers in for y. And then if I graph those points, 3, 1 would be right 3 up 1, 3, 2 would be right 3 up 2, 3, 3 would be right 3 up 3, 3, 4 would be right 3 up 4. This is going to be a vertical line where x always equals 3. So that's how you would graph that line. Okay. Now I want you to try this one. So in your notes, put y equals 4. You're also going to need graph paper. Draw a little XY table. Make your XY table and graph your points. Go ahead and hit pause. When you get done, hit play. Okay, so let's see how we did. Y is always 4. So you're always putting 4 in for y. X can be whatever numbers you want. Negative numbers, positive numbers, it doesn't matter. So those are some of the points on the line. So if we look at our line, 1, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, this would be a horizontal line where your y values are always 4. All right, we have one last question. So put a number 6 on your paper. You are planning an awards banquet for your school. you need to rent tables to seat 180 people. The tables come in two sizes. Small tables can seat 6 people and large tables can seat 10 people. The equation 6x plus 10y equals 180 models the situation where x is the number of small tables and y is the number of large tables. Find the intercepts and graph. Okay, so do this with me. Put 6x plus 10y equals 180. Okay, there's our equation. Okay, I want you to pause the video and find your x-intercept by putting 0 in for y, and then find your y-intercept by putting 0 in for x. Pause now. When you get done, hit play. All right, so let's check. So to find the x-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for y. So I'm going to have a 6x plus 10 times 0 equals 180. Well, this is just 0. So I have a 6x equals 180. Divide both sides by 6. Did you get x to be 30? Okay, good. Now to find the y-intercept, I'm going to put 0 in for x. So I'm going to have a 6 times 0 plus 10y equals 180. So this would just be 0. I'd have a 10y equals 180. Divide both sides by 10. I would have y equals 18. Okay? So now I need to graph this. Well, I'm noticing my graph only goes to positive 10, and I need to go to 30. And I'm also noticing that 3 goes into 30 and 3 goes into 18. So what I'm going to do on my coordinate plane is I'm going to count by 3s. So this would be like 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. There would be my x-intercept. It's where it crosses the x-axis. If I count by 3s on my y-axis, this would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. There's my y-intercept. So here would be my line. Okay? So what this means about the word problem, okay, is you could have 30 small tables and no large tables. 30 small tables and 6 people at each table would be 180 people. Or you could have no small tables and 18 large tables, because the large tables seat 10 people, so 10 times 18, that would give you 180. But you could also have other answers, and those are the points that are in between. Okay, so how do you feel about today's lesson? 1 means you're confused, 3 means you get it, 2 means you sort of get it. If you are still confused, you can go back and watch the video again. Just go back and play it, okay, and make sure you understand. Today's assignment is big ideas, okay? So you're going to go to big ideas. This is 3-4, so you're going to find 3-4, numbers 3 to 6, and 8 to 32 meters. All right, have a good weekend, guys.